Hey, Tiffany, it's super good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's been a busy week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was actually really reflecting on that before we got on Zoom here today. I was just thinking about how much, you do, how many roles you play and hats that you wear. You're a mom, which is the toughest thing in the world, right?
Yeah,
You're a student, you're an employee, you're a daughter, you have so much going on, and it's wonderful, and I admire you for showing up today, taking this little time for yourself. So I'm
thank
glad
you.
you're here. Yeah,
Yeah, I
for sure.
appreciate that. It's
Yeah, it's not easy, and
a lot of work.
it is even, taking time to have a counseling session can feel like it's indulgent, when we're so busy. So I'm glad you showed up for yourself today.
Well, thank you.
Um, yeah. So how have you been holding up this week?
It's been a busy week, so uh, kind of been dealing with a lot of anxiety, trying to manage everything, get everything done.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a little bit overwhelming.
I bet. And this is your last week in this term, right?
Yep, this is my last. Well, I have one more week, one more class the
Gotcha.
following week. Yeah.
Then you get a little break after that.
Yep, I do. That which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything that you're doing and all the things that you're talking about, it takes a lot of courage, and I want to recognize how hard you're working and take space to just really acknowledge that because it's not easy, and it's very commendable that you're able to do all this and that you're taking it all on and thriving even though it's so much. So just wanted
Yeah.
wanted to encourage you and let you know that that's it's very valid. And
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about some early recollections last time we met, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you would be open to do just a brief check in on that, like early recollection today.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do that.
I just want to maybe have you share a memory, something that anything before like 10, whatever pops into your head. It doesn't have to be like traumatic or anything, just whatever it is that pops into your head from around 10 or below.
Okay. Let me think about this. I guess something that comes to mind is me and my brother digging holes in our backyard, and we just dug a bunch of holes everywhere, and then took my dad's golf clubs and started hitting golf balls into all of the holes. So
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's so fun.
yeah, that was a fun memory.
That does sound like a fun memory.
Yeah.
Was it just you and your brother at that time?
Yep, just me and him.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's really funny. You know how like I don't know if you've ever talked with your siblings and the conversations of like, hey, do you remember when we used to do this? And they'll be like, no, I don't remember a thing. And you're like, how do you not
Right.
remember? Do you think he would remember that?
I think he would. I do think he would.
Yeah,
That was a good time.
for sure. How old were you then?
Probably 8 or 9. I was pretty young.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about that moment, how does it make you feel inside?
Happy. Yeah, that was a good memory. And maybe a little nervous because I guess like I was nervous about how whether or not my dad would get upset at us for digging holes everywhere.
For sure. Actually, I was wondering that too. Did you guys get in trouble?
I don't remember getting in trouble, so it must have been fine.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that, impacts I mean, even in that moment, you were happy and it was great, but you still have that little blip of anxiety of going, Dad could have found out and we could have been yeah, a little bit in trouble there for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that, that's good to sort of check in on those sorts of things because, as you look at those early memories, it kind of helps us get ideas about, certain patterns in your life that you have now and maybe feelings towards like men in general or something like, your dad, his role was a very stern, but, probably protector as well, if I'm
Yeah.
surmising correctly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and a lot of times in life we sort of gravitate towards what we're comfortable or used to. Do you feel like you ever pull that into your relationships? Like if you were to think about, the people that you've been with in the past, does that kind of feel like a pattern to you at all?
Uh, Definitely a little bit. Yeah. Um, yeah, I do think that it has come into my romantic relationships for sure, and even some of my friendships.
Okay. Yeah, tell me more
Yeah.
about that.
Um, well, I guess with my dad being kind of protective and I guess a little hot tempered as well,
Mhm.
I noticed that I do tend to connect with people who have like similar qualities.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Good, bad, or ugly. It's like we love what we love and what we're comfortable with. And sometimes, it's wonderful to take that moment and sort of challenge ourselves and think, why am I gravitating toward this? And sort of put that in perspective. It's really interesting when we look at things in that lens. So
Right, yeah, and see where it comes from.
yeah, yeah, it gives us a lot of insight into why we do what we do when we do it, because a
Right.
lot of times we don't think about it a lot. So
Yeah, that's true.
um, yeah. But there's also a lot of like there's a lot of pressure with that, in terms of your dad. Like you can tell that you very much love him and appreciate him, but there's certainly like with your mom, the memory is more lighthearted and, happy and kind of feels a little bit more comfortable. Whereas with him, it feels a little bit like, you were a little fearful. Am I kind of hearing that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that speaks to a lot of dad roles. A lot of times dads don't do all the I love yous and the hugs and stuff. They kind of take on a different, more stern role. And yeah, so I'm glad that you're able
Yeah.
to sort of like reflect on that and see how that kind of weaves into your life now, how it veins in
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting to reflect on that.
it
Think
is.
how that plays out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's really good that you have that insight and that you can do so and sort of like um take a peek into like the whys of what we do, because it's not frequent that we always do that. So it's great
Yeah.
that you're able to sort of look subjectively and you should be really proud of yourself for that because it's not an easy thing to do. So
Yeah. Takes a lot of work.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you've been showing up for others for a long time, like in your roles, being the peacekeeper, as the middle child and a mom and I know you're probably there for your mom as well.
Hmm.
I wonder, who do you say shows up for you?
Um, I guess in a sense, my daughter, I'm always showing up for her, but I feel like that unconditional love that you get from being a mom is what keeps me going. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a beautiful gift.
Yeah, it really is. And then also I have a therapist, so that helps too. Mhm.
Good. Yeah. Do you do anything in therapy that you find to be extremely helpful? Like anything that you can identify that you're like, that has really helped in many ways.
Yeah, I guess this technique called it's like a container technique. So you visualize a container and like when you're overwhelmed or anything, you put things in that container. You can put it on a shelf for later, come back to it. So I really love the visuals and things that I can take with me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is a really
Yeah.
good one. Um, one of my favorite ones is you take mentally in your mind, you take your problems and you put them into balloons
Oh,
and then you pop them.
I love that.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun one too. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to definitely try the one that you're talking about though. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is nice to have that kind of visual perspective. Not for all of us, but for you and for myself as well. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
it helps to like it's almost like writing things down on paper, right? Like it makes it more clear in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. I think it helps build that awareness too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, beautiful work this week. Like I said, I'm super happy that you're showing up for yourself. Taking time out is not selfish. You're never selfish for giving yourself that love and that care. It's super important and it helps you to be able to maintain and do what you're doing because you're doing a lot. So,
It's true.
um, I'm really honored to be working with you and I'd love to dive into more of this next week. See you then.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Bye. Okay.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
Hi, you too.
So, how has your week been?
Crazy as always.
Yeah.
Hectic, overwhelming, way too much to do, never enough time to do it in.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but it's been a really good week at work. Um, I made some pretty cool milestones. I got to change my status from onboarding to not onboarding anymore. So I'm kind of technically out of
Okay.
that like probationary period a little bit, which is really exciting. I've been
Yeah.
looking forward to that. So that was
Oh,
fun.
that's amazing. So it sounds like it's been busy, but there's been some joy coming out of it too.
Oh yeah. And the
Okay.
weather was just unbelievably beautiful. It's
Oh, yeah.
95 today, sunny, and oh, it's just great. So
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, where do you stay?
I live in Southern Oregon.
Okay. So nice weather over there. That's good.
Mhm. Yeah, we're pretty much like we're the last town before you get to California. Like we can hit California in about 10 minutes, 15
Oh,
minutes.
wow. That's
Yeah,
super nice.
it is. It's beautiful here. It is. Only thing
Yeah.
that kind of sucks about it is we have really bad fire seasons now.
Oh, yeah.
Like the industry, we had a lot of logging before, but
Mhm.
they put, like there was a big owl thing many years
Yeah.
ago, and they shut down like all the logging plants around here.
Oh, wow.
And it's now that we're not doing it, we're not clearing out the woods at all. So it's just all the brush is building up, and then we just get fires
Oh,
every summer. It sucks.
oh, yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. We've actually had to like last summer we were like loading up pictures and stuff in the car, like ready to
Oh,
leave the house. Yeah, we were on evacuation notice, so it was scary. Yeah.
oh, that is scary. And I wonder, was that triggering at all relating to kind of have to pack up and leave from what we talked about last session?
Yeah, it definitely made well, and I find myself still living in that same kind of mentality, even though I have all the stuff now. Like when you have kids and everything, you can't really live that way 100%, but in my mind, I think I still sort of do. So
Right,
for
right.
doing that, I was like, well, it made me really like weirded out to think about what I prioritize, like what we were grabbing. It was
Yeah,
really interesting. And everybody kind of was grabbing like their own things. And
yeah,
so it was interesting to see what people grabbed and who grabbed what and why. I don't know. I just found that.
yeah. That is interesting. What were some of the things that you grabbed?
I grabbed pictures, all the pictures on all the frames. Like I grabbed all of
Yeah.
those. I grabbed my computer because like, my whole work school life is on here and it's just
Mhm. Right.
so much. But um yeah, I grabbed the dog. I remember being really worried about him and his food.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's passed on since then. It was really,
Okay.
yeah, it was really hard. He was
Yeah.
only 4 and super unexpected. So yeah.
Oh, wow, that is really young.
Yeah. He ate something. The one habit we could not break him of is just eating
Mhm.
everything. He ate everything. I mean plastic. It didn't matter. He ate everything.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was terrible because we were always trying to stop him from doing it because
Yeah.
the kids would leave like a battery on the table or something.
Oh, no.
And
Yeah.
he would have eaten it. I mean, he would have. He just, I don't know why, but he loved it. And antibiotics. So,
Oh, that's so interesting.
yeah, he got really
But
sick.
I'm sorry for you. Oh,
Yeah, it was really rough, but we've gotten another doggy since then. He's kind of more I don't want to say better family dog. He's just more like loves everybody equally, whereas our other dog was like my dog. He
I
loved
get
me,
that.
and I loved that. You know, it was really nice for me to have a companion. He was always by my side.
Yeah,
But
that must have been.
yeah, it was really hard too because I had actually like messed up my knee and I had to have surgery, and so I couldn't walk. And when he died, I was like not even able to really support him because I couldn't really walk.
Oh, yeah.
And like with the pain and everything, I was just it was a mess. Like last July sucked so bad.
This was last July.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was pretty recent.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it was kind of a mess for a little while. I actually
yeah.
one of the worst mental health times for me, just
Mm-hmm.
being in chronic pain. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get surgery on it for a long time because they took forever to like get it scheduled. And then I had to do physical therapy afterwards. And that was excruciating. I mean, it's torture. And so, yeah, just being in pain and then losing him, it was like everything was just everywhere, you know?
Yeah. So on top of the emotional pain, you had the physical pain.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And then they put me on all these medications, you know, and there was like upon drugs. And I was just like, that
Out of it.
didn't help. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I got my surgery on July 3rd, and I don't remember the 4th of July. Like I
Oh,
don't remember
wow.
it at all. The
Yeah.
kid, my my daughter's friends family took all the kids to see the fireworks because like I couldn't move. And my husband
Right.
took care of me. So later on, my daughter's like, when we went to the fireworks with Anna, and I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, we took we went on the 4th of July, and I was like, I literally don't remember a thing. I don't even remember that happened. It was so scary.
Yeah. That must mean your pain levels were pretty high
Mhm.
considering how much of a dosage they gave you.
Yeah, and they knocked me out, which of course is great. I would have not had it any other way, but
Yeah.
um that also, it just whew, all the drugs that they pump in you,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
wild. It's just wild.
it is.
But in the end, it cost me my job,
Oh,
which
wow.
turned out to be like the best blessing because I now have a much better one. Um, and it kind of got me started on like I was not very good at self-care before,
Mhm.
truthfully, like I was really bad.
Yeah.
Um, and because I had to do all the physical therapy, I was like, I have to work out again. Like I have to prioritize. I didn't have a choice anymore. Like I had to show up. I was going 3 times a week. So I got myself a stationary bike at home and I started exercising on there. And it's just like, it's done wonders on so many levels. So
Right.
kind of a weird blessing at the same time, I guess, in a strange way.
Yeah, so it sounds like it was like a lot, a lot. And like that time was a lot, but out of it, you learned to take better care of yourself,
Mhm.
started exercising consistently. And are you still exercising consistently since then?
Yeah, actually, I'm sitting on my stationary bike. I have a stand-up
Oh,
desk.
wow.
I work
Yeah.
from home. And so I have a bike that I push underneath it, and then I just ride that while I'm working.
Oh, wow. That's convenient.
Yeah. Well, because I was terrified. I thought, oh my gosh, if I
Yeah.
get this job and I work remotely and I'm never leaving the house, I am just going to sit here and eat and just, it'll be terrible. So I had to like figure out some way that I wouldn't do that because, you know, that is a killer on your mental health too. Like
It is.
just
Mhm.
I can't take those. Ugh. So I actually, at the time, I had started seeing a doctor for the first time in a long time because I had insurance for the first time in a long time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I reached out to him and I was like, I'm not doing well. I'm just not. I'm not doing well at all. I'm going through all this, and I don't know. I need some help. And so he hooked me up with this behavioral therapist, and I talked with her, about everything that was going on and stuff. And she's put me on a couple different medications, and that has actually really done wonders for me as well.
Yeah.
I I probably should have, like, as a much younger person, taken that step for myself, but I was like scared and I didn't, I didn't want to like say that I needed it, but I was always very anxious, like just naturally. I'm
Hmm.
just an anxious person.
Yeah.
And it didn't help, the way that I grew up, I think. That
Yep.
instability mixed with
Right.
my innate like anxiety level as it was. Um,
Right.
I was just always a worrier, always worrying about everything. And
Hmm.
I finally, for the first time in my life, have been able to like slow that down and it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. So
Right. And that's what counts. Yeah.
yeah.
Just like the improvement, little bits by little bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting now too because everything's going well, but I'm still taking everything as I was before, and I'm sort of like I don't want to stop taking it because I feel so good that if I do and then it sucks again, I
Oh, yeah.
press back to that. But then again, at the same time, I'm kind of like I don't want to be on, meds forever. I mean, it would
Right.
probably be better if I didn't have to take anything, but you know, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. And you've been on those for a year now?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a year's a good time to really get a sense of like whether or not it is helping, and it seems that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it did. I definitely, and it might be just also like that psychosomatic thing of like I'm doing something,
Hmm.
therefore I expect a positive result, so I'm getting one. It could be that, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't want to change it at this point and then go back to feeling, so bad and so anxious because I was a stress case before, like bad,
Yeah.
really bad. So yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
better.
Just the anxiety. So you've been dealing with the anxiety pretty much your whole life, even as a child?
Yeah, I think that ever since we moved from Michigan, I think that that's been an aspect of my life that I think I was also just naturally kind of like an anxious kid because I remember being really worried like that our house was going to catch on fire all the time or that someone was going to come in and kill my mom. I don't know why. Like I was so worried about stuff like that I
Yeah.
would like not be able to sleep at night and I would, cry if I, was sent to bed. Like I just couldn't handle it. And
Right.
so I think that's just kind of who I am, then mixed with the rest of
Trauma.
the stuff that happened and moving all the time wasn't ideal, I think, for my
Mm.
personality. I think it impacted me pretty negatively, if I'm being honest.
Right.
So yeah, I think I've always been a bit of a stress case. And then when we, when I stopped seeing my dad, it was a whole bad thing. But he wasn't a nice guy and he needed to not be in our life at all anymore. And then I developed some like really weird, overwhelming fears that he was going to come and get me. I don't know why. I just how I thought. I felt like he was mad at me and he was going to come get me. And so I was always scared. Of always. I'd see somebody that looked like him and my heart would start pounding, or I'd see the car that he drove and I would just know it was him. That was where my brain went every time. And I just,
Yeah.
I think if my mom would have been more like paying attention to what was going on with me and she would have helped me, and pushed me to get help back then, I probably would have been on medication a long time
A
ago.
lot sooner, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it sounds like you kind of always struggled with that anxiety, and then it got a lot worse after you guys moved.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then it seems like it's showing up kind of like a phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was very fixated and like I said, I knew it was somewhat irrational. I knew he wasn't going to come and really kill me, but it was just
Right.
what my little kid brain thought and what it did. And I
Yeah.
couldn't stop it. It just like my heart would just start pounding out of nowhere, like even if I thought about him, that would happen. And so, um, it went untreated for a long time and unaddressed and unrecognized. And I just sort of was like, well, this is life. This is how it's supposed to be. It's how it is. But it's not, now I know that you can do things to help yourself if you
Right.
find the right things and you work hard, you can change those aspects. I didn't believe I would ever change.
Yeah. And so now, but now you're experiencing something completely different. You're doing a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really doing a lot better. I was to the point where I felt like I couldn't continue just like living my life. Like it was getting to the point where I was so mentally unwell, like that I wasn't going to be able to finish school. I wasn't going to be able to keep a job. I wasn't going to be able to,
Yeah.
be the mom and do all the things. And um yeah, it was the first time I was actually like really like scared of how poorly I felt. Not
Hmm.
like I wanted to like hurt myself. I've never had any of that
Right.
creep in my head. I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, it just was like it was too much, and I couldn't get I couldn't see anything positive. Everything was negative. Everywhere I looked, everything I felt, everything I saw, it was negative, and it just I was like, wow, this is not me. I mean,
Right.
yes, but this kind of depression and this kind of like just
Mm.
not being able to find any good in life, yeah, that was scary. So,
Yeah, I can imagine that'd be really scary. And it's really cool that you were able to like acknowledge like this is not me, this isn't who I am. These are things that I'm dealing with. And
mhm.
then you went and took the steps to deal with those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of
Did you
actually
have
surprised.
oh yeah.
I was surprised that it did it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just was so, I don't know, so anti like admitting I need help that
That
yeah,
makes sense.
I've never liked to do that. I don't know that anybody likes to do that, but I was like, kicking and screaming kind of person to not do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that makes sense with what you went through as a child too, and kind of having to rely on yourself for so many things. I can see that maybe the trust may have interfered with being able to trust other people to help you where you needed help.
Yeah, that's so accurate. And I've never thought of it like that before, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That is very accurate. Yeah. I don't think I ever really trusted anybody until my husband. Like,
Hmm.
I don't really think I trusted anybody
Yeah.
until I trusted him. And it took a long time. It took a lot of him working very hard and me kicking and screaming and trying to get away, but he just wouldn't let me. And
Yeah.
eventually I stopped. Eventually I
Right.
got it. I was like, oh, okay. You're really not gonna leave. You're really not
Yeah.
being abusive, asshole. Like,
Right. Exactly.
awesome.
You're a good one.
Yeah.
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 So do you still feel that way in your relationship that it's something that really fulfills you, makes you
My
feel safe?
husband,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. He's my best friend. He's the best person I know. I love him so much. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's amazing that you found that.
We always, oh, running out of time. Okay. So it's
Oh,
getting,
okay. Well, we can
um,
wrap up here too.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I definitely, I hit the jackpot on that one.
Yes. Amazing. So I guess it looks like you're doing a lot better and you've gone through some hard things, but those things seem to keep leading you to just continuing to better yourself and focus on your professional and your personal development.
Mhm.
And it sounds like you're doing well in all areas of life at this point, minus having to deal with that stressful situation last year, but it seems that things have gotten better since then.
Yeah, definitely. It's a
Yeah.
whole different world this year, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, and that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
that you're really optimistic about life.
Yeah, I can
Well, it
definitely
was,
say so.
yeah, well, that's good. Well, it was really good meeting with you, and I'll see you again next time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.